Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to go ahead and make this gingerbread character cookie cutter, and we'll walk you through this process. All right. So you can see the finished model here. We're going to go ahead and start with a new part studio. And on our new part studio, we're going to go ahead and create our new sketch. As always, you start with a sketch on the top work plane. And tapping the N key to view normal to, and the P key hides those work planes, makes things a little cleaner for us. What we're going to do next is we're going to bring an image in. So up here at the top of the screen, the DXF button will most likely be popped up, but we're going to want the Insert Image button. And this will allow us to import an image. Now this will only allow us to import an image that you already have saved on your computer. So if you don't have something already saved, you're going to need to go and either create something and import it, or grab something from the web that you want to trace. We're going to go ahead and grab this gingerbread character, and we're going to import it now, and it's going to pop into my list, and you'll see that I have, of course, done this 3 times. So gingerbread man 2 png.png2 is the image that we just brought in. You'll notice that it doesn't have an icon yet, a thumbnail yet, because it hasn't been used. But that's your feature. So we're going to click on that, and then click and drag to establish a size. Now, the very first thing I want to do once you get it in there is give it a size. Now, I'm going to set mine to 4.2 inches because if you look here, you'll see that it's not quite all the way to the top of the rectangle. So I want to try to produce something as close to 4 inches as possible. If you want to check to see how big your thing is, if it's inside your rectangle like that, just draw a rectangle over it temporarily, and you can see that I just created a 3.16 wide by 3.8 inch tall rectangle. So we're just going to Control Z to get rid of that. All right, and that's all you need to do first. So we're just going to call that image, and we're going to hit the green check to save that image. Sketch and move on. We're going to add another sketch to that top work plane, just like we did before, and this one's going to be our outline. We're going to go ahead and trace this. We're going to use the 3-point arc tool. 3-point arc is the shortcut key A. So choose tap those. So you tap the A key on your keyboard to get that 3-point arc. And we're just going to go around and trace. Now the 3-point arc tool, you click and release, move the mouse, click and release, and then move the mouse up and down to choose the curvature of the arc, and click to set. To trace something around, you draw multiple arcs, which is what we're about to do. You make sure you bring your mouse over the ends. You see the yellow square pop up. Click and release, you see that yellow square, that gives you a coincident. And click and release, and then just like before, move the arc back and forth to get the curvature you're looking for. So that's the technique we're going to use to follow to trace around the image. And so we'll see that happen right now. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do that sort of quickly. So click and release, click and release, click to set, click to start, click the end point, click to set the curve, click to start, click the end point, click the curve. And we'll pause the video for seconds, recording for minutes, so you don't have to watch me go all the way around here. All right, so we've gotten most of the way around here, and we're going to about close things up. And you can see right now, if I hide my image sketch, I don't have a closed figure. It's pretty obvious that it's not closed. But let's say we go ahead and bring this in and make it look like it might close, but not. It's not going to get that fill until we make those close. So if I wind up with 2 parts that are real close together and I can't seem to get them to close, choose the coincident button up here, and that'll let you bring these in and close that up. And now we have a nice outline. Now when we look at our outline, you want to try to do your best to have things smoothed out. So up here on the toolbar, you've got a drop-down menu with some constraints. We're going to go ahead and grab the tangent constraint, and this is going to help us smooth out some things. So just go around and click sections that are adjacent, and make sure they're nice and smooth. Check your work. If it does something goofy like that just did, just hit Control-Z to undo it. So you don't necessarily have to keep every last tangent that pops up. But you can try smoothing some things out. Like that weird heel looking thing. That didn't work out so good. In your corners, in your inside corners, try to have radii on the inside corners rather than sharp corners. It makes a much better product. It'll also make the last step really easy, especially on the inside corners. I'm going to go ahead and draw a 3-point curve to close this out because I don't like that. And we're going to use the trim tool to cut that off because it's way better without that. And get rid of that. There we go. And we'll go ahead and tangent that out. So it is best that you can make these smooth and tangent when possible. Make sure you zoom out and check, make sure you don't screw anything up. If you make a mistake, just Control-Z. And there you go. Alright, so there we have it. Now we have a gingerbread figure. It's pretty smooth. I got it smoothish. I can play with it some more and make it really good if we really want. But I'm pretty happy with that. And we're going to go ahead and extrude that. So the outline is done. Finish the sketch to right click or click on the green check to finish the sketch. And now we'll go ahead and extrude. There's more than one way to do this, but let's go ahead and do this part right now. We'll extrude that. And we're going to go ahead and call that done. And we'll call this the cutter. And green check to finish. And, wait a minute, that doesn't look like a cutter. What did I forget? Oh, I forgot that it's supposed to be hollow on the inside. If there was only a tool that could make this easier. Oh wait, there's a shell tool. Shell tool it is. Shell tool to the rescue. So click on that face that you want to shell. And we're going to make that 0.04 inches. And call that cutter walls. What happened? Paste to remove. Click paste to remove. This year ago. What the heck did you do? Cancel that. Try it again. Cutter walls. 0.04 inches. Give it a name. Huh. Doesn't seem to like me giving it a name in that order. Weird. Cancel it again. Hey, happens to all of us. And then we're just going to go ahead. Don't know why it's 0.04 inches. And enter. No, it's not that. It's the thickness. It doesn't like the thickness. 0.1. 0.05. 0.02. Why is it not liking that? 0.07. So this sometimes happens when you can see that you tried something and it doesn't work. It happens to everybody, and that's worked for me in the past, but for some reason it's not working right now. And that's okay. I'm going to leave that in there so you can see that it's not just you. It happens sometimes. You make a mistake and you move on. I'm going to go ahead and go back into that outline. We're going to view normal. And we're going to use the offset tool instead. We're going to grab everything. And then we're just going to drag that in just a little bit. And we're going to get ourselves a nice thin offset. What didn't like? And there you go. We're going to go ahead and set that to 0.04. And there it is. So the shell didn't like it, but we use the offset tool instead. The green check. We're in good shape. Let's go ahead and extrude that cutter wall. So we're going to pick the outside of the line. So we get that. We're going to call that cutter wall. We're going to make that 0.4 of an inch deep. This is going to be 0.4 inches. And hit that solid. And now we have a new gingerbread cutter, not quite done. We're going to need some back strength for the reinforcement. So we're just going to turn the outline back on, and we're going to use that as our sketch to extrude a thickness of 0.04 again. And it's going to be an add to the, we're going to merge with the existing. And that is just giving me all sorts of grief today. So pause for a second. All right, so I think I found a problem that you might encounter as well. Now, somewhere when we did our offset, we found, and this probably was creating the problem for our shell as well. You see that we've got this geometry that showed up that where we have self-intersecting points. That's not okay. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the cut tool. I'm going to cut that mess away. And just get rid of that mess. And hopefully we now have a working feature. So let's get the finish button. And there you go. That extrude's working. We're going to make that an add. So that's part of the original thing. We'll merge with all. And that's our cutter back. And now, there we are. Nice. All right. Last step should be quick and easy. We're going to go ahead and, of course, I've said that a couple times already. We're going to go ahead and cut a hole out the back. So let's turn off that outline. Let's create a sketch on the inside of the cookie cutter. And we're going to go ahead and offset that entire face. I'm going to go in just a little bit. And it doesn't like it. Oh, there we go. Slowlier. And sometimes this works, and clearly it's not liking it. I think what it's not liking is this corner again. So we're going to cancel the offset. And we're just going to do it by hand real quick. And this doesn't have to be super fancy. It's just going to go ahead and do a hole here. And we'll do some quickie lines, because what we're going to do is this is just clean out sections for our cookie cutter, so we can get the material out of there. We'll use the curve tool, and you might have to do, depending on your design, you might have to do a lot of manual work. So we're just gonna, and you can trim it up and make it look as good as you need. And we're going to make this kind of sloppy. And I've done that. This is funny because this is the fourth one of these I've done today in the last hour, and the first one that gave me this kind of grief. So it happens. It really comes down to those arcs. They can be kind of pesky, and if the intersections don't work out just right, sometimes you're better off starting all over. Take your time with this and try not to get too frustrated. It's kind of funny. It happens to all of us. And you can, like I said, you can tweak this as many ways as you want. You take your time and go back and modify. The cool thing about CAD, and what I like about CAD more than anything else, is the ability to just start over and do things really quickly. I mean, you're probably feeling like, I put a lot of time into this. Heck, this video is 14 minutes long alone. And I know here I've been working on this for a lot longer than that. But that's okay, because it's way quicker than trying to hand carve this beast out. And here we go. Close that out. And that's not beautiful, but it does the job. And I'm going to trim that section out of there. Sweet. Finish that sketch. And we're going to extrude that hole as a remove. And there you have it. So there we just created a gingerbread dude. You can take your time, create what you want to create. You don't have to create gingerbread dudes, but it shows you some of the processes you would go through to create this kind of model. As always, keep being creative, keep being awesome, keep being you.